Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia.
As a Gen Z, millennial, or feeling millennial, browsing through social media has really provided a quick escape from everything, from your ACADS, work, and basically life in general. It really helps break free from stress and the negative vibes. With Globe Prepaid, you can now connect, share, and react more with its Go Plus offers. With just 99 pesos, you can continue browsing and surfing through the internet wherever you go. Go Plus 99 Go Share offers you 16 GB of data that you can use to browse Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even Kumu and House Party for 7 days. To register, just dial *143 hashtag on your mobile phone or download Globe One app or GCash to enjoy the promo. Browsing through social media is now much better with Globe Prepaid's Go Plus 99. Register now. Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, Small Conversations with Huge Impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host. And before anything else, welcome to the show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you love this episode as much as I love recording it. If you learn from this episode, go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes that we have because they have a lot of insights that you can use in your life as well. If you're an avid listener of the podcast, welcome back to the show. It's now the second to the last episode of 2021. And I'm just so excited. I'm freaking excited because it's been a year that we've been on this journey together, right? If you've been listening since last year, it's already been a year and we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot of new theories, a lot of new tricks, tips, and strategies that we can use for us to be a better person. And now we're going to add more into that. I'm really excited for the 2022 because I know that we're just starting, right? We've grown a lot, but I know that we are just starting. And before I actually go ahead and talk about our episode for today, I want to announce a few things. First and foremost, if you're on Spotify, please give this podcast a rating. Give it a 5-star if you'd like, and share it with your friends, share it with your family, because it really helps the podcast. And just if the podcast get enough ratings, it will be pushed to be recommended to a lot of other people. So go ahead and give that rating, 5-star rating on Spotify, and even on Apple Podcasts if you are listening on Apple Podcasts. And second announcement is that I'll be having a workshop called Redefining You, a workshop on letting go, healing, and growth, which will be on January 8th. And there's only a few slots left, so go ahead and reserve your slot. Send me a DM on Instagram at Alec Cuenca or at Small Talk Podcast to join. And lastly, the Better Me Project will be starting again really, really soon. It's my group coaching session. We meet every single week. You can ask questions there. I share with you an in-depth insight and a more practical approach on the things that we discuss here in the podcast. So if you are interested in having an accountability group, in being in a community where people are very supportive, very light, and very like-minded, go ahead and join the Better Me Project. I can't wait to meet all of you guys there. And so today's episode is actually one of the last sessions that I shared in the Better Me Project. And I basically wanted to end the session of the Better Me Project on a little bit of reflection, because we know that we have discussed a lot of things in the project, but December is not just the time for us to spend our bonuses, enjoy our vacations, enjoy our leaves, and enjoy the time that we have with our family. December is also the perfect time for us to reflect. In 2022, you're going to be there. A lot of you guys are excited already for 2022. You have a lot of goals. You are excited. You're pumped up. You're motivated. You're already, you already have your plans on what you're going to do with 2022. But before the grinding happens, you need to take the time to reflect. If you haven't reflected yet, then this episode is for you. You may use this even after the new year, as long as you take the time to reflect. It'll only take like 1 hour or 2 hours of your time. So please, please, please get a piece of pen, get a piece of paper, and do the reflection and write it down. It's very important that you write it down. And so I am going to share with you 7 questions that you need to ask yourself so you can reflect well on 2021. And I'm sorry. And the first question is, what made you feel most happy this year? And I've actually got this idea from Jay Shetty, one of the best podcasts in the world. I learned a lot from him, but I know that he really can't reach all of the people, so I'm reiterating his points right now. And the first question you need to ask is, what made you feel most happy this year? One method that you could do is get your phone and look at your photos. If you are using backup, you have backup on iCloud or Google Photos, which I highly recommend. Go there, open that app, and go back to January 2021, and you'll realize that you have captured some of the happiest moments of your year. Just go through a quick scroll, and you'll realize that there are a lot of happy moments that you had, right? And the reason why you need to ask this question is because we basically need more moments like that in 2022. We need more experiences like that. We need to experience more of it. We need to feel those moments again and again in 2022. And we can. We can. It's not going to be always, but we can increase the frequency where we're happy. If we can anticipate and become aware on what are the things that makes us happy. So what were the moments, or what was the ultimate moment where you felt the most happy? And for me, one of the things, or one of the experiences that made me so happy was when I I was spending time with my family at the beach and just having fun, just connecting and socializing with people, and just appreciating nature, how beautiful it is. And I connected back with myself through that experience. And so I said to myself, you know what? Leisure should not be taken for granted. We need more times like that, reconnecting with nature. I was so happy during those moments, and I need to create more of it. And I need to be proactive about it. I shouldn't just be waiting for the moments that, okay, when we're going to the beach, we can go to the beach. We need to plan it out. We need to make it a goal. We need to make those moments more frequent in 2022. Now, for some of you, it's when you bought your dream car, dream house, when you got your dream job, when you bought your first, your new phone, your new car, whatever it is. As long as it made you happy, and as long as it doesn't need to make sense to anybody else. If it makes you happy, then it doesn't need to make sense to anybody else, right? So ask yourself, what made you feel the most happy this year? And so let's try, because this is going to be like the guide questions for you to create the goals for 2022. How you're going to approach 2022. You need to recreate those moments, all right? So what made you feel the most happy this year? And I want you guys to share your answers on Instagram. If you do, go ahead and tag me at Alec Cuenca. I love reading your insights there. So please go ahead. So the second question that you now need to ask is, what made you feel unhappy this year? Now, there might be no documentation on this. You weren't able to Maybe you weren't able to get a photo when you were struggling. Not a lot of people like to document their down days, right? And that's okay. But the reason why you need to ask yourself what made you feel unhappy this year is so that you can at least try to avoid those moments in the next year. And also, I want you to remember the struggle. And I want you to look here right now at yourself. And remember those moments where you thought you wouldn't get it through. You wouldn't, be able to hold yourself and get past the struggle. And I want you to look at yourself right now. You are here. 2022 is here. There's a new year. You can create the new you. And you would see how far you've actually come. Now, a lot of people might think, okay, one thing that made me unhappy this year was when my ex broke up with me, when my ex cheated on me, when this person scammed me, when my business failed. Here's the thing, when you're going to reflect on what made you unhappy this year, you need to ask yourself, what part of you were responsible for that unhappiness? Because it's not just about us telling us ourselves, oh, we're in that situation and we're unhappy because of this person, of this circumstance, of this situation. Those are things that are beyond our control. Wala tayong magagawa dun. What we need to ask is, how did we get or ended up there? What are the actions that we took? Because what we're doing here is we're taking back the power. We're taking back the power, right? There's a lot of shitty things that happened in 2021, but if you're still in that point where you're blaming, then the power of changing your life is with them. You don't have it. So now ask yourself, what did I do for me to, that was the reason for me to be in that spot? So if your relationship got toxic, then ask yourself, what did you do? Oh, maybe you settled for less than what you actually deserved. Maybe you tolerated bullshit and toxicity in your life. And that's something that made you feel unhappy. So when the next year comes, you make sure that you don't do it again. Okay? So that's the second question. What made you feel unhappy this year? The third question is, what do you want to spend more time on? Time is more important than money, than anything. Time is the only non-renewable resource that you have. And it's the most important thing that you have right now. And look at the previous months of 2021. What did you spend your time on? Did you spend time on the things that makes you happy, that makes you inspired? Did you spend time on things that make you feel bad about yourself? And look at the things that you want to spend more time on. For me, I want to, the year has been one of the best years of my career in terms of content creation, but I need to spend more time on being more creative and not just doing the things that I need to do. Like for some of the things that I've been doing, even when I am creating something, I use my creativity. It's not really for the sake of being creative. It's because I need to do it. It's because it's my work. It's because of a project that I've been doing. But I wasn't just creating for the sake of my creativity, and I need to spend more time on that. I need to spend more time on reading more books and writing and maybe doing more poetry and just creating videos as well. I love creating videos, but for some reason I stopped. And I want to spend more time on that in the next year. And just expressing my true self and being more creative, right? And also one thing that I want to spend more time on is my family. I realized that my family has always been there, and they will not always be there for me in the future. So as long as I can right now, I need to spend more time with them. Like be present in those moments because whether we like it or not, we're adjusting to the newer normal, and maybe we'll have this hybrid setup where there are offices open and then there are still some working from home. But one thing is for sure, we won't have the time that we have right now, like we had it during the pandemic. It's changing. So, what I want to do is, whenever I get the chance to spend time with my family, whether it's during lunch, it's during dinner, during the night outs, during the breakfast, the small moments in between, and then I should spend more time on that. So ask yourself, what do you want to spend more time on? Because what you want to spend time on, that shows what you value.
One thing that continuously improves my life is being connected online. Imagine all the tips and stories that other people share on social media can be beneficial in our daily lives. And of course, vice versa. I can share moments and stories online too in order to help others as well. Good thing I don't need to worry about sharing my day anytime and anywhere because I have Globe Prepaid's Go Plus 99 with GoShare promo. With a total of 16 GB of data, you can now have 8 GB for all the sites you need and 8 GB for your social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Kumu, Snapchat, and House Party. Not just that, because you also get unlimited text to all networks valid for 7 days. All you need to do is grab your mobile phones right now, head on to the new Globe One app, GCash app, or by dialing *143 hashtag on your mobile phones to quickly register on Go Plus 99. Just keep on sharing through Globe Prepaid's Go Plus 99 with GoShare promo. Register now.
Your schedule is a reflection of your values. What you spend time on is the most important things. And a lot of people get lost. They think that they're spending time on the things that are important to them, but they're not. They're just wasting their time. So the next question is actually the opposite. What do you want to spend less time on? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I completely, self-sabotaged my progress. I have been grinding since January to August, probably September. And then I reached my peak when it comes to my career, like the best ever. I reached my goals. I've achieved the things that I said I would achieve. And then I started to slow down and chill and break the momentum and hang out with the people that I barely even know, spend money on things that doesn't really bring me peace. And I spend a lot of time in just trying to float, not be intentional with my time. And so I want to spend less time on people that are not relevant to the future that I want to have. Don't get me wrong, I love them and I enjoy every single moment with them. And maybe I could spend time with them, but this time it's less often. It's less frequent. I need to spend less time on that so that I could give time to the things that are relevant to my purpose in life. So what do you want to spend less time on? And be strict with it. Self-care is about setting boundaries. It's not about what you want to do. It's about what you're willing to give up. So ask yourself, what are the things, who are the people, what are the circumstances that you want to spend less time on? And be strict with it. The fifth question is, what is the biggest lesson you learned this year? And I love this question because there are a lot of lessons that you learned in 2021. And I'm going to ask you this question, and you need to ask yourself this question because 2022, and this can be your motto as well, 2022 is the year that you apply the lessons. In 2021, you learned. In 2022, you apply. Let me say that again. In 2021, you learned. In 2022, you apply. And we got to make sure that that it's not the same biggest lesson every single year, that we're applying and growing and learning a bigger lesson in the next year. So write it down. What's your biggest lesson? What's the biggest lesson that you learned this year? for me is that you can make things happen. Whatever you put your mind into it and align your actions and your words with it, you can make it happen. Like, there's infinite opportunities out there. There's an abundance of opportunities waiting for you. You just need to really desire it. You just really need to want it. If you are willing to do the work, then you can make anything happen. That for me is the biggest lesson. So if I am not happy with where I am, with who I am right now, it's because of myself, right? It's because I didn't want the best life for myself. I kind of want it, but I don't really, really want it. But if I really wanted it, if I desired it, then I can make it happen. I know that for a fact because I did that for January to August. I said, these are my goals. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I did them. And I can do that again in 2022. But this time, maybe I won't, self-sabotage myself and ruin my progress and ruin or slow down my momentum. So ask yourself, what is the biggest lesson you learned this year? Now, the next question, the sixth question is, what is your biggest success this year? And this is going to be a little bit more personal, right? What is your biggest success this year? And we need to ask this question. It's because we need to celebrate it. Maybe we haven't celebrated it yet. And we need to acknowledge ourselves for the biggest success that we had this year. There's a lot of failures, I know, but there's also a lot of success. There's also a lot of miracles that happened. And this might be the time for you to give credit, acknowledge the wins, and praise yourself for the biggest success that you had this year. But there's a follow-up question here. Don't just ask yourself, what is the biggest success that you had? Ask yourself, when did that journey towards your success start? And the reason why I want you to ask this question is for you to learn two things. First is patience. Second is that everything works in a grander scheme of things. What do I mean by this? My biggest success this year is that the podcast reached top 2 in the Philippine podcast Spotify charts. And I looked at that success. I asked myself, when did the journey actually start? You know what I realized? The first answer that popped into my mind was, it started 2 years ago when I created the podcast. And I asked myself again, no, when did that journey actually start? It was the moment when I start reading self-improvement books, when I started to improve myself on a daily basis when I was 20 years old. Wait, but was that actually the moment where it actually started? And I realized that there was this one moment back in high school when I saw Mr. Francis Kong speak at a conference, at a seminar. And I was so inspired by his speech. And I said to myself, that's the person that I want to become. I wanted to be like that person. I want to inspire people as well. And that was back in high school. So the journey of my success of being the top 2 podcasts here in the Philippines didn't actually start 2 years ago or 5 years ago. It started probably 8 to 10 years ago. 10 years ago, yeah, to be exact. And that teaches us patience. If we understand that the success that we're seeing, it's not just, it's never overnight. It always requires time. So you need to have patience. Whatever success that you want to achieve, you need to give it you need to give it time. You need to be patient with it. And the second is, we now realize that everything that we're doing right now will pile up into this bigger scheme of things, and this grander scheme of things. And it's just every idea that we were having, every word that we're saying, every action that we're doing, every people that we're meeting, they're all connecting for us to be in the place where we needed to be, where we need to be. And this just reinforce the fact that we're not ahead, we're not behind, we're exactly where we need to be. Everything that we're doing right now will make sense in the future, as long as we're actively pursuing the thing that will make us happy. So ask yourself, what is your biggest success this year? And when did that actually start? And you'll realize that you have been working at it for so long. And you should be fucking proud of yourself. You were strong. You're courageous. You were amazing during the journey towards your success. And be proud of that. And the last question that I would ask you, that you need to ask yourself for reflection, is what is your biggest mistake? What is your biggest mistake? It's funny how like the people that we look up to, they're really successful people, but we can learn from two people, okay? The successful ones and the unsuccessful ones. And for the successful ones, we look at how they did it and we replicate it. The second one is, when did, we look at the unsuccessful people, what did they do? And we'll try to avoid it. We can learn as much from the successful people when we're going to learn from the unsuccessful ones. And it's just sad that no one really, if there was like a seminar or a webinar or a workshop that unsuccessful people will share his or her mistakes, that's just as valuable as the people who are successful, who are giving out webinars and seminars and workshops as well. So learn from it. Learn from your mistake. Use the past as a school to teach you lessons. Don't dwell on it. Don't spend your time, your lifetime inside that school. Don't dwell on it. Use it as a lesson. And I love mistakes. It's not that I purposely, go out and make mistakes. But if I make a mistake, I love it. Why? Because mistakes are a clear path to self-improvement. You now know what you need to fix. You now know what you need to improve. You now know what you need to avoid because you made a mistake. And we're all humans. We all make mistakes. So ask yourself, what is your biggest mistake? So that when the next year comes, when you're setting out your goals, you know what you need to avoid. You know what you need to sacrifice. You know what you need to give up. You know what you should change for your life to change. So ask these questions, reflect on these questions. So when you're trying to set your goals for 2022, when you're trying to be the better person in 2022, you'd be more intentional with everything, with the most important things, your values, your time, the things that make you feel happy, patience, and of course, growth.
Hi, my name is Janine, and I am inviting you to come listen to my podcast called Adulting Millennials, where I talk about lifestyle and adulting how-tos here in the Philippines. Available on all podcast platforms and powered by Podcast Network Asia and Podmetrics.
So again, what made you feel most happy this year? What made you feel unhappy this year? What do you want to spend more time on? What do you want to spend less time on? What is the biggest lesson you learned this year? What is your biggest success this year? And what is your biggest mistake? And those are the questions that you need to reflect on before you start setting your goals, before you grind it out. Take the time to reflect. It'll change the outlook of your life. And that's all for this episode. If you like this episode, go ahead and share it on Instagram, and don't forget to tag me at Small Talk Podcast or at Alec Cuenca. I love reading all of your insights. And yeah, if you have any comments, suggestions, let me know. Send me a message. And also, please join the workshop in the Better Me Project. The workshop will be on January 8th. The Better Me Project, I'll announce the details very, very soon. So make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Alec Cuenca. So thank you guys for listening. My name is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. And I'll talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.